How's it going, guys? It's Eclipse here, and today we're taking a look at what's happening this week in World of Tanks. I waited this one day just because I wanted to find out what exactly Wargaming had planned for the week, because they do release a kind of notes video before, but that's only like a precursor, and it doesn't necessarily tell you exactly what's coming out for this week. The first thing we need to go over, however, when we get into this news, is this is your last week to be able to finish the Action Heroes season battle pass type thing that we've got in game. So if you're rushing out that last couple of levels, then you need to get a move on, because it will finish on the 26th of January at 10 o'clock GMT. So yeah, get a move on, get that done, and pick up that Object 268 version 5 and the Huntsman Centurion if you haven't already. So the next thing also is that keycards are still available until the 26th of January, and that will be the last time you'll be able to pick those up in the foreseeable future anyway, that we know about. So yeah, if you want to get one of those, then definitely now's your chance to pick them up in the next week. We've got a new assignment that's come out. This is number 2, and it's assignment Bravo. I'll go over this later on in the video, but we'll talk about that more later on. If you want to just skip to that bit, then go ahead. It will be chaptered in the bottom of the video if you want to pick that. We've continued to get this on track to the Panzer KPFW 7. So this is the Tier 10 German heavy tank. I mentioned about this last week, and if you want to check that out, then you can go back and see it, because it's run for 2 weeks. This one is just basically a 25% bonus to XP on any tanks that lead towards this tank. So yeah, if you're grinding out to get this tank, then yeah, you'll get a 25% bonus XP until the 26th of January in game. We've got a few bundles to go through, and this is just basically giving my opinion on what ones are actually worth picking up and what aren't. There's usually none of the bundles in my eyes are worth picking up, but you know, maybe this week they'll potentially have one that's worth it. So the first one is 4 of a kind. This contains the Sherman VC Firefly, the Bear KV-122, the Tiger 217, probably about the 77th version of the Tigers that they've actually brought into this game, and also the Minuteman T29 heavy tank. So these are a combination of Tier 6s and Tier 7s, 2 Tier 7 heavy tanks and 2 Tier 6 heavy and medium tanks. So the Sherman VC Firefly is a terrible tank, and I would not recommend. The Tiger 217, it's just basically a Tier 6 Tiger. It's not got that many hit points. It's got a decent gun, but yeah, it's just basically like a Tier 6 stock Tiger kind of thing. And yeah, you can't potentially really earn that much money with only 120% bonus silver earn. Yeah, not a tank I'd be picking up, especially since the Sherman VC Firefly is in there as well. I do own that, but only because I got it out of a like a key card. It's not a good one, but yeah, this bundle definitely wouldn't recommend it. The French Speeders. This is a bundle I would definitely never, ever, ever, ever recommend if you want to play 2021 World of Tanks. If you want to go back to 2016, 2015 World of Tanks console, then go ahead. You might find it slightly better. But the FCM50T in the current meta is particularly terrible. Its gun's alright, and it's kind of got a decent mobility, but its armor's paper because it's just flat, and yeah, it's not really got any armour worth noting. The EOC Even 90 is a good light tank, but when you're paying 9,500 gold to get it, yeah, I wouldn't recommend that at all. The CDC is god-awful. It is actually god-awful. I've 3-marked this tank, I've played a lot in it. It's a terrible tank now. The gun is terrible. It literally is terrible. Even with the accuracy on the move buffs that we've got as part of Update 6.0 to World of Tanks console, it's still terrible, and yeah, I would never ever recommend purchasing this bundle. The French premiums at the moment are pretty terrible in general, and yeah, the only one worth noting is actually the EOC Even 90, which is a fun little light tank that you can use. Got terrible DPM though, and it's not very beginner friendly at all. Well, none of these are particularly beginner friendly. They're not really friendly to anyone. So yeah, definitely do not buy the French speeders unless you're looking to just buy all of the premium tanks in the game. The winning style, of course, contains a IS-3 variant / IS-5 heavy tank, Soviet tier 8 heavy tank. This one's actually not too bad. It's a decent tank. The Chieftain T95 is actually quite a fun medium tank to get. You got it previously if you played I've forgotten, it must have been like 3 years ago. It was like a monthly event type thing where you could earn the Chieftain T95, and yeah, I did that and got that in the form of the Centennial. So yeah, that's a pretty decent tank to play. So yeah, I'd recommend potentially picking that up if it came on a 50%. But with most of these, it's a 65% saving, and a lot of the time it's not really worth it if you don't want one of the tanks, because yeah, you're saving some money, but you're not really saving that much. And if you just waited for the tank that you kind of like the look of to come out on the 50% personal offers or just 50% off as part of the weekly offers, then yeah, I would rather pick up the singular version of it. So yeah, none of these are particularly ones I'd pick up, but these two are potentially good. The AMX 1357, not very beginner friendly. It's got a really fast firing autoloader, but it only does 90 damage per shot, and yeah, it's quite a difficult tank to play in terms of doing particularly well in it, because a lot of the time you're only going to be able to get one clip out if you just YOLO in, and so getting yourself to the end of the game is the hardest part in that tank. So yeah, just make sure that you know that if you want to go for this bundle. But yeah, there are 2 tier 8 tanks and a French tier 7 light tank. So yeah, the final one is the M41B Brazilian Bulldog. That's a particularly average light tank. It's more of a medium, to be honest with you. It's huge and doesn't go particularly that fast. It's a decent one, but yeah, it does get HE as its standard round, and its premium has like high pen. So it's basically what they call the Billy Dog, because it fires HE as its standard. So yeah, it is, well, kind of hesh because it has 102mm of pen, but it's not particularly great. It's good for going against enemy light tanks, but yeah, it's not very good in my opinion. Then we've got the Bison, the T103. This is a tank destroyer on the Russian line. This one's a bit of an ogre, to be honest. Its armour isn't particularly fantastic. Other than on the turret, it does get 220mm at the front, but the hull is pretty terrible. It does get a nice gun doing 440 alpha, and it gets a really nice pen. The HE rounds as well, if you fire them, do get 580 damage. So it's kind of one that you might want to pick up if you're interested in tank destroyers. Then we've got the Vengeance T25. This is the American tier 8 medium. I would not really recommend that to anyone, to be honest. It's not particularly fantastic, and this is probably the one, like many of the bundles, that is particularly terrible. Both the Brazilian Bulldog and the Vengeance aren't particularly great, and I mean even the Bison's not that good. It's just kind of a bunch of average tanks that they've bundled together that probably don't sell at all when they're trying to just sell them off for 11,000 gold for all of them. Yeah, not particularly fun. But if you are looking to pick up 2 out of the 3, then maybe it's potentially worth it, because you will get another one. But if you're not going to play it, then don't spend more money. even if it's like 1,000 more gold to get another tier 8 premium that you're just never going to use. But that's just my eyes. If you want to buy them, go ahead and buy them. Other than that, that's the bundles done. We'll look over the premium tanks here now as well. So we've got a few, but these are all just the bundled ones. You can pick them up for 30% off individually. So yeah, if you don't want the bundles, you can pick up a 30% discount on any of the ones I've just mentioned. So the notable ones being probably the EOSE Even 90, the Glory IS-5 is alright, the Bison's kind of funny, and the Chieftain T95 is actually quite a nice medium tank if you like that kind of British medium tank playstyle. That's all for those premium tank sales that are discounted, but now we've got the weekly deals for console, and that is 50% off the Mauer Breaker. I would never purchase this tank ever. If you want your sanity, it is absolutely terrible. It's just a mouse basically at tier 8, but its armour doesn't work, and you can come up against tier 10s that just go through your upper plate and through the front of your turret with absolutely no troubles. So yeah, definitely don't pick this one up if you want to actually do well or keep your sanity. The Eradicator Carnarvon, however, is actually quite a nice one, and we will actually look over this one as part of this, just because it is quite a nice one. I believe it actually gets an autoloader. Yes, it does, and that's something that you should always think about when you get your tanks, because it does get 3 shots in its magazine, being able to do 280 damage each, which I believe is 840 in total, if my maths is actually right. Yeah, I believe it is 840. So that's really nice if you can make sure you track the opponent, track and pen, and then pump 2 shots into them after you've tracked them in quick succession. You do have to wait a little between shots, but it'll be a lot less than any other tank in the game at its tier anyway. The rate of fire is 6.82, so it's fairly poor DPM in total, but when you can blast out 840 damage in probably 4 seconds, it'll be really nice. So yeah, good aiming time for a heavy tank. It's got good accuracy at 0.34, and yeah, this is one I definitely recommend if you like the British heavy tank playstyle and also auto-loading playstyle. So yeah, that's quite a strong one to pick up if you want it. Plus it earns 150% silver and 175% base crew earn rate as well, so that's really nice. And there we go, that's all of the premium tanks and what's happening this kind of thing. We do move on to some further updates, and also we'll go back to the assignment Bravo and what you need to do to get yourself a key card. The Tank Mints update rundown stream is running on the 19th of January at 8 o'clock. He said he might be late, but he will let you know. So if you want to tune in on that on Twitch using the link www.twitch.tv/whatconsole, you'll be able to see that. And then furthermore, that on the 25th of January, you'll be able to see Minto's insider information for the following week. That's all I've got for this bit. If we want to move on to the next bit of the video, then go ahead and I'll see you there. So this operation that we've got here, which is a new one, it's Assignment Bravo, an operation, and basically you'll be able to get your hands on a confidential keycard as the final reward and a couple of different things. We'll have a look right now. This runs from the 19th of January until the 26th of January. So you've got a week to complete this, and that kind of comes in line with the end of the season, I believe. So yeah, that's just like the final push towards the end of the season. So what will you need to do? You will have to earn I believe 60,000 XP in total to be able to complete all stages of this. Because it is cumulative, you do have to earn the 2,000 XP for the first one to get yourself a vehicle slot, and then you'll have to earn a further 5,000 XP to earn 20,000 silver. Then you'll need 8,000 to get another garage slot, and then 10,000 XP for 5,000 free XP. Then it's 15,000 XP and then you'll get 1 day of premium, and then the final one is earn 20,000 XP and you'll get a confidential key card. So yeah, there's plenty of stuff that you can get your hands on as part of this little earn operation. I quite like the bigger ones where you can earn, like, you know, a premium tank or whatever, just where you have to grind out 200,000 silver or you have to kill so many tanks. I prefer those ones, and I'd actually quite like to see some sort of community system where we've got operations a bit like the PC version has, where you've got mission marathons and stuff like that. I prefer those to this kind of small scale stuff, and ones where you have to do things where it's literally just earn 10,000 XP in any number of battles. If it was like, you know, do 8,000 damage, that'd be quite a nice one, and, you know, it'll make people try and push towards different things with different tanks and use things that they normally wouldn't do. But that's out of the scope of this video. That's everything for this assignment Bravo. And we'll move on to the final bit of the video, which is the fixes and patches that are coming into the game, and also the personal offers, if I don't forget, which is not mentioned in the previous article. And yeah, those will be the ones that pop up on your screen after the battles and tell you that there's only for you a personal offer, and it's like 50% off, but it's for every single person on the game. And yeah, just another way to sell you usually pretty terrible tanks for 50% off. And you've got a time limit as well. So yeah, this week's are actually alright tanks if you want to pick them up. So yeah, I'll go over that in just a second. Actually, before I forget and we move on to that, I did want to mention what you can actually get from confidential keycards, because I thought that would actually be quite useful for you guys to see whether you actually want to be able to grind to get one. So yeah, we'll go over that right now. Confidential keycard, it's the worst one or the cheapest one, obviously. Wargaming don't want to give you the good one, but you can get one of 15 powerful premium tanks from tier 3 to tier 8. If you're calling a tier 3 premium powerful, I'm not entirely sure what you're going on about. You can get up to 400 gold per one, which is the nice thing. You know, it pays for changing crews and doing all of like the small scale stuff where you have to pay like 10 or up 10 to 100 gold for certain different things. And you can also get yourself some premium account time and top up and boosters and stuff like that, and silver, as well as some free XP, which I believe is probably the worst one to get out of those. So what are the drop rates? You'll be able to get a premium tank 10% of the time in one of these confidential key cards. You can also have the opportunity to get another key card from this, so you've got a 5% chance of getting another key card within this one. You'll get 21.4% chance of getting extra gold, because I believe that they come with 150 gold as standard. There we go. Yeah, so you'll be guaranteed 150 gold, and then you have a 20% chance of getting some more, which will bring you up to the max, which is 400. You got 3% chance of getting premium time, and the biggest one being silver, which is 51%, and also free XP being 53%. You can get silver boosters, but they're only 4% chance, and XP boosters being 30%, and then crew XP boosters being 12%. So, is it worth grinding this operation? I believe, 50 to 60,000 XP is fairly easy, even if you're not even going for it. So I do believe that you'll be able to do this really easily, and you won't have to put that much effort to get this. So, you can just play casually and be able to get a confidential key card. So yeah. The premium tanks that you can get out of this are pretty terrible, I'm not going to lie. The best one being the Korean pattern which is the tier 8 pattern that you can see on screen here. It's an alright tank, nothing special. You can have really good games in it. It does earn quite a lot of silver, being 157%, which is 7% over what is usually standard for tier 8s as the silver earn. So you'll be able to earn actually quite a lot of money in this. But it does depend on whether you're firing premium ammunition, which with 192 standard, you probably won't need to fire that much premium in the Korean pattern here. The other ones that are notable to mention are the Type 62, so that's a Chinese light tank, I believe. Yep, that's a tier 7. That one's, it's Chinese, it'll probably get ammo racked in one shot. Then you've got the T25 Pilot 1, which is a tier 8 actually, so this is the second one. Yet again, very similar to the Korean pattern kind of by the looks of the gun stats. Earns a little bit less, and it's probably a worse version of the Korean pattern, and it's just the worst one. It's not the same, but it is very similar. Yeah, you might be able to be more mobile in this thing. It's faster, doing 55 kilometers an hour compared to the 48 of the Korean pattern. But you sacrifice so much in terms of turret armor and hull armor. You get a better gun in terms of accuracy, but yeah, I'd rather have the Korean pattern, and that would be a nice one to get, but you'd have to be pretty lucky to get that one. Other mentions that I should go through are things like this Wojciech and the Rudy. The Rudy is actually quite nice. I actually got that out of a confidential keycard not long ago. And yeah, I haven't played it yet, but it's a T34-85. It's got a really good gun, and you can't really complain when you get that. All of the other ones, they're like tier 3s and tier 4s, and that makes up probably 80% of this being terrible tanks that you just aren't going to want to use anyway, so not much point in getting them. I should note though, if you actually get one of these tanks and you've already got it before, you will actually receive the gold value of the tank, so that's actually really nice. So if you actually receive one of these, you'll get the gold value of the tank. If you get the same one again, that's fantastic, and that's probably, if you had the Korean pattern before, or the T25 Pilot, you're going to be getting like 8,000 gold on average back to your account for the sake of 50,000 XP. So it is worth grinding, especially if you've got a lot of premium tanks already. And there you go, I just thought I should mention that as part of the video. And finally, moving on to the last couple of bits we need to focus on, and that is the update details from Minto on the forum, and this just explains a couple of things that weren't mentioned specifically within the World of Tanks website news article. And that is that the HUD ammo icon for when it's filled or ready to fire has been changed so that it's probably more visible and you can see it easier in game. So, that's just a UI improvement, or HUD improvement, I should say. The sale price shown when selling a restored tank is also displaying the correct amount now. Previously, I'm guessing that it was probably showing the lower amount than what it actually was, which is just, I don't get why that wasn't tested or anything. But then again, it's probably just because they were struck for time, and they probably had corporate pressure from like the high ups in the company pushing them to release this update early. And with all of the COVID restrictions, I kind of get it. But what I'd have done is just actually delayed the whole update until it was worked out, all of the bugs and fixes, and to a reasonable degree. Obviously, when you make this many changes all in one update, it's going to cause bugs, and you're going to have to spend a lot of time actually focusing on making sure these bugs are limited to some degree, so when it comes in, there aren't as many as there were. But yeah, I was amazed at how many there actually were when it first came out. It's kind of got better slowly, and we're going to see those last couple of things be changed soon. But yes, I'm just surprised that they let that happen and that they didn't just delay it a little longer. Finally, the two last things are that artillery shell tracers have been made more visible in game. So when they did last week, they made actual shell tracers for every tank more visible, so you can see what kind of rounds people are firing, and also they're just bigger bigger shell tracers, so you can see where people are firing from. Yeah, so that's basically happened to artillery. You'll be able to find out where they're positioned on the map easier if you're looking up in the sky to determine where the artillery is on the map. So, that's good for me. When I'm in my light tanks, I can work out where the artillery is and make sure that I know for the end of the game when I win or get the opportunity to be able to go to the RT position and then potentially kill them. Then the last thing is that the earn rates on the T62A have been fixed. They're probably lower than what they were potentially should have been or are now. So yeah, that's probably caused an issue with some players playing that tank. And yeah, that's been fixed, so it's just standard as every other tank. Don't know how that was in specific different earn rates, but yeah, that's been fixed. Obviously, on this article, they did show the bundles and everything, but we've already gone over that in the news article on the website, and I kind of wanted to wait until then to be able to review this update, because obviously, as it says, some things can actually be changed, and that they're advance notes provided for your benefit, and they may be subject to change. So obviously waiting a little while until they've actually given us the things after the update is what I like to do, just to make sure that everything I'm giving you is what's actually going to be in the game. We do have personal offers to go over, and that's the last thing. We've got the Type 59-2. Basically a better Type 59. Type 59 original was terrible in the current state of the game. This one's just a better version, probably made so that they can farm your money twice. You buy the original and then find out that there's a better version, so you buy the second one. Then we've got the T54E2. This is a tier 8 premium heavy tank. It's an autoloader, I believe, if I'm right in thinking so. A bit like the T54E1. Yeah, it's a good tank. It looks a little bit like the pattern, if I'm thinking it's the right one. So yeah, I kind of like having an autoloader. So maybe I'll look to see how much this is. Obviously, it'll be 50% off, as with all of the personal offers that come into the game. But potentially, this is when I like picking up tanks, just because I believe the 50% from the personal offers, they tend to offer the better premium tanks. And, I'm not particularly fussed about going out and buying a brand new premium tank that costs 12,000 gold. So, waiting a little bit and picking up one that I've liked the look of, or just been kind of viewing for the last couple of years, or the last year, or however long it's been since it came into the game is the best way to go in terms of maximising how much you're spending on the game and making it efficient as to what you're buying. The Scourge Kirovets is the final one. This one was a free tank a long time ago, so don't forget, if you purchase these for gold, it will convert into silver when you buy it, or it might not even let you buy the tank. But yeah, just be aware, if you already own any of these, you will get the silver equivalent, and spending gold to get silver is never a thing I'd recommend ever in the game, just because you can play some of the premium tanks that you own, and I'm sure most people have quite a few just from the free tanks they've given out, and yeah, just earn your silver that way. Enjoy the tanks that you're playing. Maybe pick a premium tank rather than spend it on silver. So yeah, there we go, the Scourge Kirovets. It's the Russian tier 8 heavy tank, similar to the IS-3, but I believe it has a flat front plate instead of the pike nose that's traditionally on Russian tier 8 heavies like the IS-3. There we go, that's everything for this update. I hope it was kind of comprehensive and it showed you everything you need to know. I know it was quite a long one, but I did go into all the different types of things you can expect from the key cards, and also anything else that came into the game, and just gave you a bit of a discussion as to what I thought about different changes, and I hope that kind of came across quite well. other than that, I think I'm finished for today, and I hope you guys have had a good kind of day so far, and I hope you have a good rest of your day. And if you did like this content, please subscribe and check out some of the other things I've got on the game. I've got quite a few gameplays and reviews and different things like that, but mainly I focus on the different updates and how you can kind of get better at the game using a few different guides and stuff like that. So if you like the sound of that, please check out my channel and also subscribe to see some more. But other than that, I hope you guys have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.